Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen, with the dark shadow of the Empire rising to take their place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force.
They've outgrown their age of rebellion, dulled the Empire's edge, defeated Imperial generals and the Pirate Queen's dredge. They've been soldiers and scoundrels, what's there left to be? How about lost acolytes looking for their force and destiny? There's a seer, hermit, investigator, and teacher. Better watch your back or a vibro ring's gonna reach you. Will this team find the light or will darkness win the day? Find out with the heroes of the Hydian way.
Previously on Heroes of the Hydian Way, 4 travelers arrived on Arboine and became heroes. Skip, Cash, Koba, and Hillary walked with the Sithari people as the fractured families found new leadership and purpose, working together to bring a new era of cooperation and peace to their city. The 4 did their part by unseating the corrupt Reeve, a Mirialan Force user who had held the city in thrall for decades. While they have obtained one of the missing holocron crystals, 2 more remain at large, and the victory was not without a cost. Hard heads and broken hearts aside, they will celebrate with the people of Quolas. Join them as they receive their parting gifts.
Welcome to Heroes of the Hydian Way. This is a Star Wars actual play podcast, and we're playing in Fantasy Flight Games' Force and Destiny system, using the Chronicles of the Gatekeeper adventure as developed by Tim Cox and Max Brook. This is Act 1, Episode 16! And I'm Ben, the GM for this adventure.
Okay, look, so, very nice bird lady, I'm sure. Look, the crystal part of this necklace was clearly not all that important. And see, I'm bringing the chain back and the little sort of attacher piece. And I mean, if you want something that's kind of crystal-like that can go in the spot, then I'm sure I can probably come up with something. I probably have some nice pretty rocks in my bag. Give me just a second. You want my name? Oh, I'm in trouble, aren't I? Well, I'm Skip, the, Kalaran Seeker Hermit. Look, here, this one's not purple. It's kind of reddish, but will this crystal do? Right.
You know, Koba, truly, Skip and Hillary are the best among us.
I feel like you took the wrong lesson from our conversation.
What? I thought we determined that they were the good ones.
I mean, yeah, but that wasn't really the point. It was kind of a...
Well, you would think that being all philosophical would be up my alley, being a mystic seer, but sometimes, I miss some of the finer points.
Well, a Doug investigator like me, I mostly deal with the concrete. Nope, not gonna get there.
That's fine, because you skipped Leslie.
Yeah.
That's okay, because
it's okay, it's
can work
intentional
with him on
now.
his
Yeah.
diction.
Koba's now
Christine's fault.
between Cash and Hillary.
Yeah.
Hillary can certainly work with Koba on his diction.
Yeah.
After all, Hillary is a Really? Hillary just needs a cup of calf.
I deal with facts, is the point.
Look, it's been a long
Proof.
day. We're all very tired.
I really hope this isn't a long ceremony, because when we get back to the ship, I'm going to teach you all how to make a perfect cup of calf, and then I'm going to drink it all myself. Every last drop.
I don't know if that gives us a lot of incentive to participate in this training session.
Well, perhaps it'll be more of a lecture, and you can do whatever it is students do during lectures. Draw pictures of Darth Plagueis the Wise, teach your Sarfrey Sarfin, teach Gudge to juggle, and be generally cranky and sullen.
I think we got that down, thanks.
To learn more about our heroes, we get one to ask another a question, and it is now Skip's turn.
What, oh, me? Oh,
Yes.
sure. Koba. See, I'm just thinking, kind of like daydreaming and stuff. Like, this is all just a very complicated situation. And that's fine. But sometimes I like to imagine that I'm, just like something completely different. If you had the choice, what would you pick being? A giant dragon or a giant robot?
Crates?
I know you can't possibly have strong opinions on either of those things.
When you say robot, are we talking like a protocol droid or something, or what?
No, like, like in fantastical, like, holovids, when there's, giant, robots that people ride around in, or have their own feelings. I don't know much about these things. And, they're both fictional. It's a use your imagination kind of question.
I've seen both giant dragons and giant robots. It's a big galaxy. I don't know. I don't feel like a cold metal body would quite contain me, suit my personality. So probably the dragon one. I'm so, warm and fuzzy. Personable.
Skip just looks at the camera with
Kind.
Are dragons usually fuzzy?
maybe where he's from.
Okay, you make a valid point. I've not seen many vids out of... Is it Malister?
Malister, yeah.
Malister, yeah.
I hear it's a bit of a grim place, so...
No, that's cool.
Reptiles are very comforting.
Yeah, Kesh knows what I'm talking about.
A couple weeks have passed. The trial of Marcolf has started, and charges have been brought against him, but now they're into, well, the depths of all the things that has been done at his behest. To take the general mood of the city and hopefully make it a bit more bright, the ruling pair, Pathrin and Elena, they have called for a ceremony at the Pillar of Records. And as the four heroes approach, you can see that they are in probably their nicest clothes that they have, at least packed away on this weird trip that they got put on. In fact, the Sithari might have even afforded them a tailor.
That's good because these are my nicest clothes.
As the four heroes are walking up through the middle of this procession, why don't the four of you describe how your characters are in formal clothing, especially when you've got access to a tailor for a couple days that are very interested in learning what the heck a Transition, a Killern, a Lena, and a Doug do for fashion.
I must confess myself quite curious as to Doug formal wear.
It's mostly nice vests.
That tracks.
Koba is probably wearing let's say sort of a purple something like... what fabric would they use here? I mean, something kind of akin to silk, but probably not exactly silk. Vest.
Durasilk.
Over like probably some sort of undershirt that's like black or some such, and nice, made of space cotton or something. He's got some sort of local flower bloom tucked into one front of his vest. Doug's don't have hair, I don't guess. I was like, his hair is slicked back. I'm like, no, Doug's don't have hair, as far as I recall. Koba doesn't have hair. He cleans up okay, but he definitely sort of looks for the bar to loiter near it.
Hillary's more or less wearing his same gear. He would have afforded himself the opportunity to get it cleaned up. And so he's wearing his standard trousers with the magically pressed crease that is always there on the outside of his vest. But he will be wearing a coat, like a professional jacket over top. He does not have a bloom, but a pocket square. And he is wearing... He always has like an amulet kind of thing around his neck. People who look closer will realize it's like a hollow projector thing. But he's got that hanging out this time just because he kind of keeps touching it thoughtfully. And He will look very smart, but he's the wrong kind of formal. What he's wearing is what you would consider more meeting formal rather than event formal. So it's a business suit rather than like a tux.
Skip laundered their clothing and is wearing a nice hat, but is otherwise wearing the same clothes as normal. Had some time to, patch up the more recent rips and tears and things.
What does Skip's hat look like?
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of a silly, poofy, yellow beret kind of looking thing with a feather sticking out of it that Skip totally got permission to put in there.
I was hoping.
As opposed to just plucking from oh dear.
Okay, so, you all went kind of minimalist. So we had access to a tailor. Do you think they would have had time to build something, like to make something new? Or are we just patching up what we've got?
If you're looking at simple fabric, I figure that, yeah, there would be enough time.
Okay.
So, like, if you're looking for armor, not enough time. If you're looking
I don't mean armor at all. No, I think then Kesh is the one who actually makes the most use of this, where for at least this event, she has shed the old kind of ratty robes that have been through countless fights at this point, and she's had made for herself a set that are red in color, like a darker burgundy, that shapes her a little bit better, but she has also like a shawl that sort of goes up over top of it.
Are these robes?
Something in that vein. Robes, a dress, something in, around, probably not super tailored because Sithari and time being a factor, but they're clean, they're new, and they're kind of a brighter color as we see this old Trandoshan start to come in, still leaning on her staff, still barefoot, no jewelry or other kind of accents.
So the four of you are directed up to the front of this gathering. We've seen what the pillar looks like before. It's this couple-story tall piece of heartwood that is carved in the history of Quolas. It goes back pretty much to the founding. There are rings around it so that people can go around it, look, see everything. They've got magnifying walls that are there that you can look through, and it is a cultural focal point of the city. And as they're standing there, you do recognize, standing off to the side in probably their best coveralls, you see four artists there that are carefully examining the four heroes as they come down. And you've got Pathrin and Elina there, as well as Kezo Lem. They're standing before the pillar. Welcome. You have done the city of Quolas a great boon, and for that we shall forever be in your debt. By allowing us to remove Marcolf and making sure that he does not cause more damage to us, we shall be grateful. What you have said, what you have done, has become what is going to serve as a foundation for this city to build upon and to grow forth. You have helped us from the time that you had set clawed foot in this city. You have helped us. And for that we are grateful. For your help, to show our gratitude as you continue on this quest that has brought you to us, we have a few tokens to give. And with that, they will snap their fingers and four young Sithari come out with things on pillows. Because, well, why not? Coming and standing before the four of you, you've got a elder. This probably is the oldest one of them, looking to be mid-teenish in age, or at least our age. They've got what looks to be the breastplate of Marcolf's armor, and they stop in front of Kesh. For the mighty Kesh, acolyte of the scorekeeper, we have set our artisans to recraft Marcolf's armor and robes into something that will fit upon you.
She'll bow as the armor is presented to her, taking it in claw, and she will say, I am honored by this gift.
Then a slightly younger Sathari walks over and stands in front of Hillary, and you have the sword that Marcolf had been using. It is a black metal sword with some form of runes going up the flat of it, and two amazingly sharp blades on it. It's sort of the semi-classic longsword style, and a scabbard next to it. For the benevolent Hillary, we have a gift from the one that you had spared, and is now looking to take ownership of what they have done to us, to all of us. We have this gift to you of their sword. For your words cut, as well should your actions.
Out of curiosity, how big is this sword?
Long swordish size, so like for you it'd be great sword size, but yeah.
So like my height.
Sounds like it.
Sure.
Oh no.
Okay. Hillary will take first the scabbard and then the blade, and he will close it. So Hillary will take the scabbard and the sword and put the sword away. And it's really too big for him to wear, clearly. But what he does is he sets it tip down, holding it with his hand on the grip, and says, "May it only be my words that I need, and not the blade."
And for the two protectors that dashed off to save someone they had just met from an Imperial raid, as directed by Reeve Marcolf, we have old symbols of protectors of the past. With this, you can see these two, I'm going to go with purple feathered twins walking out. On their pillows, you can see they look to be lightsaber hilts with a oversized emitter lens on it. It is said that these are to train the protectors that use the Force. As has been reported to us, at least the two of you have shown within your actions that which has gone before. It is only fitting that these two remnants be given to the two of you.
Thanks. Koba probably takes it in a foot, really. Angles it such that the emitter is sort of not pointed at anybody in particular. And just kind of tests its weight. He doesn't ignite it.
Okay, and Skip?
Skip's just looking a little wide-eyed, and then tries their best to sort of stand up straight and takes it kind of sheepishly. Thank you for... and then looks over at Kesh. What did Kesh say? I am also honored by this gift. Thank you.
With a QC, Jill, the farmer that you had stayed with for like a night, starting off the clap and cheer. And as a new age dawns on Quolas, it's here that we need to commemorate such a pivotal turning point for the city. This part of our history shall be endowed upon the pillar of memories, so that those will be able to look upon, seeing that when we come together, the city of Quolas becomes more than the fractured families that we can become. And join me in celebrating our heroes here before they continue on with their quest. With that, sort of a ragged cheer goes up. Pathrin will raise their hands, unfurling their feathers into full wing as much as they can, while raising it up, as does the entire crowd in almost a wave. They give a ragged yell, "Yay!
Woohoo! Yeah! You rock!"
As that's happening, the artisans come over and start taking a look. You can see one of them doing a reference sketch of Skip, and another one looking at Koba. It's taking a sketch, seeming to scribble, sketching again, and just trying to get the nice proportions of a Doug proper. And it's at that point where the scene itself just sort of devolves into cheering and milling about. A final thing that Pathrin does is come over to the four of you in a bit more hushed tone. And it's there's a convoy leaving Quolas in the next couple of days. If the four of you were wanting to ride on our Tarvix, that would be a gift from us to you.
If anybody wants to ride a Tarvix, all three of us look at Skip.
Skip, who had been just sort of kind of visibly uncomfortable by all of the ceremony and such, definitely perks up at that.
I think that's a yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't think that there was a implication that there needed to be a response. Sorry.
Looked like Cash was literally going to say the exact same thing, but as soon as Hillary starts speaking, she immediately stops her attempts. I was actually going to say the same thing, Leslie. You beat me to the punch by a second.
Haha! This is why you have higher agility.
Skip just doesn't know when Skip is allowed to talk right now in this whole thing, so...
You'll get a sharp elbow in the thigh. Thank the bird. Come on.
Oh,
use your word, Skip.
That too would be, and kind of looks at Cash again, an honor.
I like you looking, an honor. Do you stand up straight again because?
Yes.
I love Skip so much.
And now, let us partake in the celebration. I can just see Pathrin then smiling between Cash and Skip and wrapping a arm around both of their backs, up over. It's and now onto the party.
Insert yub yub.
Pretty much.
What is happening with the Empire in all of this?
Well, okay, that is a very excellent question, because that's sort of the one final thing that does need to be wrapped up. And I'm figuring that if there's nothing that you're going to be doing, I'm thinking that just outside of the Tarvik stable that Pathrin had directed you to, there would be our Stormtrooper Sergeant and several of the Stormtroopers standing there waiting for the four of you.
Do they make any move at us when we approach?
They would be barring your way in. The Stormtroopers are at ease. They don't have their blasters pointed at anyone yet, but they do have them out and ready. The Sergeant is in her normal olive uniform with the 4 rank buttons on it. I think you would be trying to leave this city.
I didn't realize that was going to be a problem.
You got something you want to charge us with, Sarge?
Assault on Imperial personnel would be one thing. And with someone like Marcolf around, it does make a good case for having more of an Imperial presence in Quolas and Arbuine.
I think things are taken care of. There was just a regime change. You know how that goes.
I do, but regime changes tend to destabilize, and the order that I'm here to protect does not appreciate them.
So what do you want us to do about it? How many stormtroopers are there?
You know that there's a grand total of 9 troopers. You're just not quite sure where the other 4 are.
Okay.
9 including the sergeant.
Sure. Like on the planet? Or nearby?
Technically, yes.
Okay.
In the city. We came here looking for reports of rebellion, and we most certainly found it.
But not like capital R rebellion. Like lowercase r rebellion.
Like he said, just a change in leadership. As you can see, the people are peaceful here. They're having quite the party over there, as point of fact. No weapons, no bloodshed, nothing to worry about here.
I'm sure if you called this in, you could have a Star Destroyer here soon enough, right? That's expected, of course. Doing that means you're admitting that you're not really up to handling this backwater all by yourselves, as you were ordered to, I assume. And the Empire doesn't necessarily make for a path to promotion. I would like to use sense on the sergeant.
Okay.
2 light side pips.
Oh, that's rare.
Basically, all I can do right now with sense is, sense the current emotional state of the target. Also, I assume we've had time to recover all of our strain since there was like a little bit of time.
Yeah. At this point, all of your strain, couple wounds if you need them.
Okay.
From the stormtroopers themselves, you're getting standard, essentially duty from them, looking to the 4 of you, thinking like, yeah, well, these are the dangerous ones. Some of them would have been ones that had been knocked out on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
And she's there. It isn't sitting right with her that those who had knocked her out and were able to abscond with people that she was dealing with, she's miffed at that, to put it lightly.
So she's got kind of a personal stake here that she wants to...
She's got a bit of a personal stake, but also she's looking at it as, with the new government, they could integrate with the Empire even easier, since a lot of structure is going to have to get reset up, and this will be the perfect time for the Empire to move in. She's looking at it as the one loose end of this really is the 4 of you. And she's wondering, what should she do? That if you were to give her reason, she would be trying to take you back to Sector Command in binders.
Yep.
Because revolutionary is nice, easy to hand over, very easy to explain since you are to a point.
Do I get anything tied to the notion of calling in assistance?
No, not immediately, no.
Okay. Are all 4 of us there?
I was assuming so.
Okay. Are you gonna let us go on our way or not?
Why should I let you go on your way? 4 dangerous people such as you to overthrow another governor?
Yeah. This was just kind of us passing through, really just all of a big coincidence.
A coincidence that the 4 of you show up and then the leader is deposed? That is quite a coincidence.
How long have you been on the planet?
A few months?
Seems to me you showed up and a few months later, the leader was deposed. Besides, you miscounted.
Oh?
Yeah. Only 3 of us are really dangerous, but one of them is dangerous enough for about 3 more of us. And then Koba's gonna do something stupid.
Okay. I'm guessing we're about to enter a fight, the way that this is gonna go?
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, do it. We let Koba talk. This is
Yeah, it shows you what to do about that, right?
I mean, Kesh was thinking about, hey, if we dropped her off into the jungle and she didn't show back up, what would happen? So, we're the good people, right?
See, because you said, besides you got the count wrong, and
I was
I
expecting
thought
Gudge.
you were gonna say Gudge, and then I was gonna have Gudge fly at one of their faces.
Oh.
I'm guessing you're about to disappear.
No, I was just implying that Hillary probably isn't going to help us fight.
Okay.
Okay, at least Hillary's probably going to help us fight. Hillary's probably not going to try to murder anybody.
Hillary would actually just like to try and move forward.
It's an imperfect ploy.
Hey, Hillary's got a sword that's as tall as he is. He's pretty scary, man.
Yep. I'm going to assume that Koba probably didn't come to the party packing either his vibro rings or his gun.
That would make sense, yeah.
So I really only have... I guess I might have
You
my
don't
set.
have, like, a vibro ring as a pocket square?
They're a little large for that, I think. They're not like batarang. As much as we call them batarangs, they're larger than that.
It's disappointing.
I guess we do have sap gloves, but he does have his present. And he's going to hope it still works.
Oh.
Is there any way we could not do this? Is there any way I can just reach over and put my hand on his and be like, buddy, now's not the time?
I think that's maybe up to Ben as far as reaction times. I don't know.
I'm going on until something's actually rolled yet. That totally could be done.
Yeah.
I mean, worst case, you could use one of your 4 light side points.
Yeah. You see Koba's looking like he's going to try something.
Hillary will take a step forward. Excuse me, miss. Might I ask a question?
Yes. Yes, you may.
What is your name, please?
I am Trooper Devray.
No, your name. Do you have a first name? A last name? A family name?
I am Trooper Devray.
Very well then, Trooper.
While I am here and on duty, that is my name.
Fair enough. Why are you here? What is your task here on Arbuine, in the middle of an immense forest full of people who really aren't that interested in resisting you?
We had reports of a resistance cell forming here.
Do you know what? There was one. It won. It wasn't against you. It was against a local government. Do you think they have much to do against the Empire? Against your blasters and your armor? And your immense numbers?
We were sent here to ensure that they were not.
Well, look at that. You have nothing to fear. We're foolish travelers who ended up in the middle of a skirmish that we didn't belong in. And now we're leaving. I do want to kind of try a charm to kind of make it seem like this isn't worth the fuss.
That totally makes sense. Okay, so charm would be against discipline, which standard stormtrooper sergeant, which technically has a slightly higher presence than usual. That is neither here nor there against their discipline, which is 2 red and a purple, which is actually better than the stormtrooper squad. Better for you, as opposed to...
Mm-hmm.
No set, but... no, with what you're saying, I'd actually offer a boost on top.
I was actually going to ask for one because it's like, I'm basically telling her there is no threat here. And to be honest, she probably doesn't think there's a threat here because they could set fire to everything with one blaster bolt and be done. You know, there's nothing to worry about. Okay, so I'm going to do this real quick. Okay? This is going to be awesome. Do you mind if I flip a point?
I mean, we've got tons, so go for it.
Okay, so we're...
Unless there's a thing afterwards that you need to use it on, go right ahead.
Nope. I'm going to flip a light side. We're at 4 and 2, favoring the light. And Hillary is going to roll 2 yellow, 2 green, 1 blue against 2 red and a purple. And just to kind of, something to consider for, we'll say for the light side, is this. He looks at her, and he looks around. And we're gussied up in a way, that we're really not as impressive as we might want to be. And at this point, he's looking a little weary. Hillary is. So he's just like, we're not a threat. And that is 2 success, 3 advantage, and a triumph. I saw the circle before I saw what was in the circle, and I panicked. So he looks over at Koba and kind of does that the low hand wave, like, simmer down, buddy. He looks up at Kesh and smiles, kind of sad, and he looks at Skip and he winks. And then he looks back at her and shrugs, like, seriously, this is what you think you need to fight?
Skip had been ready to launch at the moment that Koba had given some sort of go-ahead, so...
Gosh, help me spend some stuff here. Can, for an advantage, I have Gudge makes a cute noise and then, like, actually settles on top of Skip's head?
What I had wrote into chat is that Skip has Gudge on their forearm just ready to pounce. Like a hunting falcon or something. And when Hillary looks over and winks at Skip, Skip will just kind of soothe Gudge a little bit. Gudge will do like a slightly like miffed chirp and hover back over to Skip's shoulder. But it's a cute enough chirp that, seems unassuming.
Yeah, I mean, with both Skip and Koba kind of spoiling to fight, some of that advantage could be that the stormtroopers don't notice or something.
How about the triumph is that at the chirp, she actually she does the same motion that I did to Koba, the hand down, and the troopers actually put away their blasters because it's not worth the fight right now.
They'll relax back. I mean, they're sort of stormtroopers, don't really holster blasters. But yeah, I get what you're saying, and they're doing as much as they can for that. With that, the stormtroopers will split in pairs and unbar the way behind her as she does the arm gesture. So that would be your advantage. Well, I'm sort of figuring there'll be a couple advantage to get them to stand down and not notice that some of you are spoiling for a fight. What do you want to use the triumph on, which has not been touched?
Well, if I don't need the triumph to get them to completely stand down, I really don't know.
I have something of a thought there.
Okay.
So there were a lot of threats being thrown around in terms of the Sithari and situations like that. I thought Brandon did have a good argument earlier about hey, the whole rebellion thing might reflect poorly upon you. Could we maybe use the triumph to pad that out and ensure, like, yeah, things are the way they are now, and that she's not going to, perhaps call this in and bring in a larger barracks to oppress the Sithari or something like that?
Like, maybe she thinks, okay, there's really not much of a reason for me being her, to be here. Like, this is no threat. So she's gonna report back that there were some travelers, things got a little messy, but everything is good, and the Sithari are once again peaceful. There's nothing going on that would concern the Empire.
Yeah, they elected new leadership.
Yeah.
Everything's good here. Situation normal. How are you?
She has the situation, or thinks she has the situation, well in hand. And 4 scraggly travelers that can't even, get all the dirt off their face for a party aren't too concerning.
Although now you're mentioning that also gives me another idea. Instead, the triumvirate could be, maybe we don't make it into the report.
Well, yeah, because if we were included, she'd have to include that her men got jumped, and she got jumped.
Yeah, and that would be beneficial to us, given there's been Force shenanigans going on here. You don't want, some Imperial later on to go, oh, a Trandoshan, an Alina, a Kalaran, and a Doug. Huh. Wait a minute. That's what I just saw just walk by guard post or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go with the triumph is, as she looks at us, because she's not going to like us. She kind of sniffs and does that. She says, right, and you were never here.
All right, I can totally go with that. Pia said, is sort of the last dangling thread of Quolas. Now Marcolf's going to be sending hollows to Hillary on a somewhat regular basis as sort of a prison pen pal.
I'm okay with that. I will regale him with whatever is appropriate to share at the time and try to encourage him to not be bitter and sad.
That gets the 4 of you onto Tarvix. A, how many Tarvix? And B, Do you make it back to the ship before having the conversation between Hillary and Kesh, or do the two of you just sort of lag back in the pack and talk?
I think, honestly, Hillary is not too keen on the Tarvix and would actually ride with Skip.
Okay.
Because Skip is used to animals. But maybe once we get to the ship, Skip is on pilot duty, being pilot person, and Koba does whatever it is that Koba does?
Koba doesn't really have ship skills, aside from just having like a good agility and stuff like that.
But Koba does have a corkboard and string to update.
Yeah, Koba probably works on his latest conspiracy theories.
There is one final present, and this is found as the four of you are unloading the Tarvix. Because I'm assuming out of the four of you, someone's going to open the box. It looks to be a chromium high calf set. Or like a high society calf set.
Now that's the gift that Hillary really cares about.
It's a gift from Pathrun saying, "We will not find any use for this here. I have heard at least one of you wanting this badly." Yeah, it's high-class calf set with serving tray and 2 cups and saucers, as well as a 2-kilo bag worth of unground calf.
Hillary's digging through, so unloading things, putting things, lifts the box out very gingerly, like, where did this come from? Pops the lid off, reads the note, and then pulls out like a layer of packing, and you just hear him go, "Oh, yes!" And he picks up the container of calf and just, "Oh, goodness, this will be perfect." And leaves a mess strewn behind him, which is really unusual for him. And he just goes and he makes a pot of calf. And he sits on the mismatched college student furniture that's in the back there. And he just sits and he's holding the calf with 2 hands. He hasn't even sipped it yet. He's bracing himself. And he's just inhaling. Eyes closed, just savoring the moment.
And that's when Kesh sits down?
I was thinking about it.
I was just figuring it was a good joke, but if you want to actually do that, go right ahead.
Okay. So we hear the engine warming up as Skip is powering up the ship, and Kesh is passing through that like common room where Hillary is seated with this beautiful, cup of calf. And it's the first hint of a smile she's sent your way in the past day. And the first words she says to you after this long delay of silence is, "Finally got your calf, huh?"
And without moving, he opens his eyes and looks up. And he returns the very small smile. "It smells so good. But you know what makes calf a little bit better?"
Sugar.
"I will forgive you your
Somewhere
ignorance.
Skip is really excited.
But I was going to say company." And he will actually set his cup down and pour a second cup, set it in the saucer, and set it so that it's like near another seat. And then he'll return to his seat and pick the cup up again.
There is a moment's pause before Kesh comes over and sits down in front of the cup. When she can't think of what to say at first, she leans forward and picks up the cup and is paying more attention to that than you for the moment.
There are some sugar cubes in the the small tin with the little tongs next to it. It's very
Skip
fine
hasn't
stuff.
gotten to them yet?
I didn't tell Skip. I kind of didn't tell anyone.
Probably a good idea. And Cash then busies herself, making up the calf a little bit more, comes back to the seat. Silence falls again for a beat, two.
So,
We had some different ideas about how that was going to go.
we did indeed, and I was not in my element, as perhaps you were in yours. I do not do combat. I have really no place in such an event.
No, but you have an uncanny ability to avoid combat.
He was so hurt, Cash. He was so lost. I could not leave him.
And we both tried to spare him that in our own ways.
We have both left much behind us. Family, friendships, regret. I could not let it happen again. Not when I could have stopped it. And I don't know that I did. Perchance your way was the better one. A quick end. I don't know.
As it was pointed out to me, I could have ended it if I had been a little rougher with you. And there's still a part of me that thinks that maybe I should have. And there's a part of me that thinks that maybe your way is right. I don't know.
Huh.
The galaxy isn't so black and white.
That's two of us that don't know much, huh? Cash. I don't agree with your ways all the time. I can't live by them. But I do understand that they're yours and your beliefs. And I will ask a favor.
Tell me what it is, and I will let you know if I can do it.
Listen to me when you can. And if my way will get one of us hurt, stop me.
Cash puts the cup down and rubs at her temples for a moment with those clawed hands. The situation might not be that easy to decide which is the right course.
No. These things rarely are. That's why we live with our loss. Much, much loss. For you, for me. And perhaps for our friends in the other parts of the ship. But, please, if it comes to that, stop me, and know that I will probably try to stop you at some point, too.
That's just the thing, Hillary. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing either. I don't know if you're just getting in my way. Or if I need you to stop me in those instances.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. She sighs like that.
Okay.
Like Cash does.
Hillary laughs. Not really laughing in that real laugh kind of sense, but in that kind of, this is hard and awkward and sad. And he takes a sip of the calf, the first one he's really actually taken, and he just kind of melts, kind of back to his seat, kind of clutching it to his chest, and he looks up at you and he smiles. Just so you know, I could probably stop you now. I do have a sword.
You'd be certainly welcome to try.
I'm quick.
Another slight smile, but it fades quickly. Well, we have a bit of a journey ahead of us, and I think we both have a lot to think about. I haven't decided yet if I'm staying or not. And I guess I felt you needed to know it's a possibility either way.
Just let me know. Please. You are my first friend in this group. You are my friend. You are my family. I don't want you to leave. But I respect that sometimes departures must happen.
Cash reaches forward and does something she doesn't do too often. She actually takes her organic hand and kind of puts this massive claw Trandoshan hand over top of your tiny little Alina one for a moment. Either way, I still consider you my friend, Hillary.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Heroes of the Hydian Way. You can find show updates on Twitter at The Hydian Way, and you can find me, Ben, on Twitter at Deuterium Ice.
I'm Ren, and you can find me on Twitter at Atomic Firebird, or you can find some of my other projects by going to Twitter at MakeBelieveInfo. That makes it sound like it's fake info. I didn't think about that.
And you can find me on Twitter at 12th Night. That's 12th and Night with a K.
Leslet GS. And
That's
that's
it?
it. That's all that I am.
And I'm Brandon, and I'm at Blue of the Kin. Or, if you want to hear Star Trek actual play, at Endeavor Show.
We are all at thehydianway.com, where you can find previous episodes.
You can find more episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Plus, you can really help us out by rating, reviewing, and subscribing.
We're also on Facebook as The Hydian Way. You can holocom us at heroes@thehydianway.com.
If you like what we do and want to support this show, hop on over to patreon.com/thehydianway.
Or you can toss a cred to your podcaster at ko-fi.com/thehydianway.
I will admit to forgetting that I had to think up a question, and I just wong that one.
I like it. Work for me.
It's like,
Yeah.
let's troll Brandon.
How to say this? Yeah, it's a big sword, probably.
I mean, Cash is getting a pauldron out of this.
My power levels have increased massively.
She's a sergeant now.